All right, so we're going to make an out of bounds picture. What you need to do is go to Photoshop, go to File, New. So now we're going to make sure that it is in inches. We're going to make it 10 inches by 8 inches, 150 resolution, transparent, and hit create. So if you go to Schoology, you can get the picture, or if you're doing your own, go ahead and do your own, but I'm going to do it showing you the example. So there's the picture. I'm going to right click and copy. I'm going to go back to Photoshop. I'm going to hit Control V to paste. I'm going to make sure my select tool is on. I'm going to put it in the corner. I'm going to hit Control T to transform, and then I'm going to make it bigger. As you can see, it makes it bigger this way, but not the other way it would continue to do. So, if to change the proportion, you need to hold the Shift key down and click on it and scroll down. Hit Enter to make the handles go away. And now we need to make a copy of this. The easiest way to make a copy is to click, hold, and drag it to the plus sign at the bottom here. And now you will have a copy and the original. So now we're going to click on the bottom layer, and we're going to make a new layer. Turn off the top layer for right now. We're going to go over here to the shape tool, which is down towards the bottom. Might have a line, whatever. If you right click on it, you can go to the rectangle tool, and we are going to make a rectangle. Now mine is black because up here it's black, and it's also black over here. So I can easily change this to white by just clicking on the color, and then you can click on whichever color you want. I'm going to go back to the selection tool to make the handles go away. I can move it to wherever we want it to be. I'm going to put it about right there. Now I need to warp it. So to do that, you hit Control T, which is to transform. I'm going to put my cursor right on top of the box, right click and go to warp, and then I can warp this whichever way you want it to be. And then I'm going to hit enter to make it go back like this. Okay, so now we have our box. The next step is we have to cut out the background. The easiest way to do that is you have to be on this layer here, and you're going to hold the control key down on the keyboard, and you're going to click this thumbnail, not the layer, the thumbnail. And you will now have dancing ants around our box. We're going to turn this on for the moment and turn this one off for the moment. And if I go to the top layer, the one that's the picture, and I right click and say create clipping mask, I now have a mask of my picture. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to make a white border. To do that, keep the dancing ants. If you have lost the dancing ants, you turned off the dancing ants, you hit Control and the thumbnail again. We're going to go up to Select, Modify, Contract, and you can contract it by whatever number you want. I'm going to do it by 20 and say OK. You see how it moves in from the end right here. All right, so now okay, so I have my contract here, and now what you need to do, sorry about that, is if you click on this layer and hit the plus sign, you will get a new layer here. With this layer selected, you need to now, before you do anything else, you need to select the inverse. We don't want to select inside of it, we want to select outside of it. So the easiest way is to go to select inverse, and you see how I have dancing ants here and here now. Once I do that, make sure that you have white and black over here. You can just click on this little one and it'll do black and white, and I can change it to white and black, whichever. And once I have that and I have it inverted, I'm on this layer. If I hit Alt backspace, it all becomes white. I can hit Control D to make the dancing ants go away. And then if I go here, and you see how this is, and all I did was drag it down and it's here. But now if I take this and put it right above it, I now have a white border. Okay, couple more steps. Go to the bottom layer and hit plus sign, and we're going to make a new layer. It's just a blank layer down here. We're going to make a background. To do that, if you go to the paint bucket tool, if you have it up, or the gradient, what I'm looking for is the gradient tool. And if you go up here, you can change it to whatever colors you want. And remember, you can do circles and squares and whatever, but I'm just going to leave it what it is. And I'm going to make myself a gradient background. The last step is to take the rectangle, the one right above it, double click on the layer so that the blending options or the layer styles comes up, and we're going to go down here to drop shadow. If you click on drop shadow, you will get all of this information. Couple things you got to look for. One, make sure this is on normal. 2, you need to make it black. 3, you can change the distance, the spread, and the size. Okay, if I wanted to, I could go over here and I could just move this. If I want it to be in a certain way, I can move it around. You can see how it does. There'll be more drop shadow on one side versus the other. Once you are happy with it, you hit OK. So we have all of the components of our out of bounds. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, please ask me.